Hey, Andre, no Rivian for you.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I want to apologize personally to all of our readers, our viewers, our fans. We've gotten, Andre, dozens, well, probably more than that, hundreds of emails, of comments,
Instagram posts.
people talking to us, asking us to review the Rivian. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do that. You want to kind of walk them through what happened?
Well, yeah, so, you know the Rivian truck, R1T, R1S as the SUV. It came out almost 3 years ago, where it kind of was announced. And through these years, we've been kind of staying on top of this as much as possible. We even went to one of the Rivian events about a year ago, or actually maybe 2 years ago in Denver, where I got to see the Rivian SUV and the truck, even interview RJ Scaringe, who is the CEO. But unfortunately, in the last few months, when we were trying to communicate with the Rivian team, there was silence.
Yeah, so we've gotten a lot of requests from you guys asking us to review the truck, to drive it, to tow with it, to take it off-road. And so we have obviously contacted the Rivian PR team numerous times now, asking them if we can, get our hands on the truck, and all we've gotten is silence. I mean, not even like, no, you can't, just nothing.
Yeah, and then there was a big blow because we heard through the grapevine, not officially, that there was an event here in our backyard.
In Breckenridge, yeah. They did a press launch in Breckenridge. And we kind of consider Colorado our home turf, right? It's like you come into our town.
It's an hour away, dude.
Yeah, it's an hour away from us. And so we reached out to Rivian again saying, hey, we're here and we'd love to get our hands on one. And once again, crickets. So
Yes.
This is an apology to you guys. You're going to see some coverage coming out from other journalists. We did attempt to, get the truck tested, and it's a shame, Andre, because look, with the trucks being here, we've got access to some of the best off-roading,
Some of the best highways.
yeah, to the iGauntlet. We could have iked it.
So we've been using the I-70 iGauntlet route for about 9 years.
Yeah.
Right? We know every turn, every gravel, pebble on this highway, and also all the trails. Because, you go to Keystone, every week?
Every weekend I'm
Yeah.
up there, yeah, and it would have been a great opportunity to show off the capabilities of the truck, right? Because look, there's this funny thing happening in the business now where there's two kinds of companies. There are traditional automobile manufacturers, and now there are the second set of companies, which are more technology companies, right? So I'm talking about Tesla, I'm talking about Rivian, I'm talking about companies specifically that are building electric vehicles. And I'm sensing kind of this trend, Andre, where tech companies seem to be almost, I don't know. I don't want to use the word I'm thinking of because it's a pretty harsh word. But I'm going to use it, okay?
Okay.
They're almost arrogant, right? Tesla got rid of their PR department. And to me, that there's a certain amount of arrogance in that because they're saying to you, we don't care about what other people think or how you perceive our products or how you use our products. We're gonna give you what we think is best for you, and then if people want to test it, we're gonna only give that item to fanboys or mega fanboys of ours to test. And let me give you an example of one of my favorite companies, which is Apple, that does kind of the same thing, a typical technology company. Tommy was working on the Mini recently, and he sat on his new iPhone, and basically half the screen went blank. And he's like, oh, shoot, what do I do? And I'm like, well, we got an old iPhone 8 here, which is the last one with the push button. Remember that little push button, right?
Barely, yes.
And, yeah, but that was a better phone, Andre. Except for the camera, everything about that phone was better, right? And I think the only reason that Apple got rid of the little, thumb ID was because it was more expensive, not because it was better, right? Now with everybody having to wear masks half the time, I don't know how many times I have to punch in my code on my current phone. Whereas with that little push button, you pull it out of your pocket, you push it over here, you push it over there, and you're rocking. Right?
And also, I don't want to talk about iPhones
or this
a very
too,
long
right?
time.
The chip reader. Apple got rid of the most important thing in our computer, which is the chip reader.
Yes, how do we import footage? Now we have to buy adapters, right?
Yeah.
And other things.
Yeah, and it's Steve Jobs hated, according to published reports, like cables. And now my life is one giant dongle because Apple got rid of all the stuff I need to do my job. And in the same way, I think we're seeing that same thing happen with Tesla. So, of course, I'm talking about the new Yoke that Tesla put on both the Model S and the Model X. And it's up there, right?
Yeah, it's basically their new kind of a steering device, you would say. And it's not getting great reviews at all.
No, I've been watching the reviews. So Edmunds did a big review of it, basically showing how very hard it is to do like a K-turn, which is something you do. Consumer Reports on their podcast said it was a safety issue because the horn is a button on the right, and in an emergency, if you don't hit that horn right, it's not going to activate. They also did something on the Yoke, which is very intriguing. Instead of putting the turn signal stock in, they put buttons, and instead of making the buttons left and right, I'm going to go left, so I'll hit the left button, right, I'm going to right, they put them up and down, and so you're always having to rewire your brain.
And think about it constantly.
Yeah. And the worst part about the Yoke is, apparently according to Consumer Reports, is that your hands get tired because there's only two places you can hold it, right? You can't sometimes I drive like a gangster, right? Sometimes I hold it down here, sometimes I hold it like that. With the Yoke, you are stuck like this. And the theory behind the Yoke is at some point they're going to get rid of the steering wheel. But nevertheless, today, because we're not at full
autonomy.
You have to hold it. And I don't, if I were look into the future, I think once they sell all those Model X's and Model S's with the Yoke to their mega fanboys and girls, which will buy anything that Tesla does, I can't see my wife or your wife driving that thing. Can yours?
Well, it's a safety concern to me. I haven't driven it, so I'm not speaking from experience. But listening to every reviewers, and obviously you mentioned them, right? Edmunds at least, and Consumer Reports. If I cannot act quickly, like let's say there is something running in front of me, I want to swerve or stop or make a tight turn, it's a safety concern.
You can't do hand over hand. You can't thread the steering wheel. You can't put your hand anywhere but on those two Yoke things.
Yeah. So that's, it may be good for TikTok, right? You can show it on TikTok and everybody will be wowed by it. But for day-to-day driving, it's not good.
Yeah, and let me take it back to Rivian, right? So Rivian recently started, obviously, producing trucks. And before they started producing trucks, they had this program where they brought in truck reservation holders to drive it on their testing facility. In a way, the same thing that Tesla does with the latest version, I think it's 10.0 of full self-driving, right? They release it to their mega fan people. And then, of course, the first videos and tweets and Facebook posts are all from owners who are over the moon.
Well, because first of all, they put their money in.
They're buying it, yeah.
they submitted their $2,000 deposits.
2.5, right?
2.5.
They have a horse in the race.
They have a horse in the race. They're excited by it. They're early adopters. Of course, they're going to be excited and very, very happy.
Yeah, and so I guess that makes sense from a Rivian perspective. Give it to your super fanboys and watch them fawn over how great the thing that they're buying is, right? And the issue is, we look upon our job as kind of holding companies accountable. So if a company says that electric towing is a thing, we're going to hold them accountable to that. And I think we have talked to engineers at a lot of the companies that we work with, and they appreciate what we do, right? A good company will take the input that we give them from the iGauntlet, and they'll say, you know what, we can remedy this problem, or we can make it better because they're doing independent, real-world testing that we haven't been able to do. And when a company refuses to do that, I think it's bad for both the company and for the people who are buying the product, because it says they have no interest in improving the product, at least not in a way that is independent outside of their owners.
Yeah, actually, for me especially, it's very humbling because we go to events, with the big manufacturers for pickup trucks like Toyota, Nissan, Ford, GM, Ram, and the engineers and their teams are saying it's a two-way street, right? They're saying, first of all, it's humbling to me because they're actually watching and paying attention, right? And they're making adjustments, and then they have feedback to us too. What if you try this, or what if you do that? So it's a two-way street, and I think everybody wins.
Yeah,
that point.
yeah. And we have, I've talked to Rivian engineers. A lot of that team came from what used to be FCA.
Yeah, in many different places.
In many different places,
Yeah.
They watch our videos, and I think they appreciate what we do. So obviously, we're not going to just sit back and be like, okay, fine, we got crickets from Rivian, so we're going to move on. What we want to do is we want to be your voice. We want to be an independent and honest, especially when it comes to truck, tester of the vehicles and of the claims that the manufacturers are making. So part of this video is if you guys have a Rivian that you've already received, or if you have one on order, we would love to either borrow it or test it if you're willing to help us do that. So we would love to get a truck here in Colorado, since the company obviously doesn't appreciate our viewership, or at least it doesn't seem that way since we can't seem to get any response from them. We would love to get one of you guys that has the vehicle to either let us use it and run it up the icon, let us take it off-road and actually test it and see if the claims that they're making are true. The one thing that, for instance, Rivian has already moved away from, and we covered this, is a tank turn. You remember the tank turn?
Yeah, it was kind of a thing they showed a couple of years ago.
Yeah, they said that the vehicle will do like a 360-degree turn by having the front wheels turn one way and the back wheels turn the other way.
Yeah, just basically turning in one place.
Yeah. It basically turns out apparently that if you do that on anything but a perfectly flat surface, you're going to send the vehicle like flying off a cliff.
Or maybe rip your tires or damage something.
But anyway, these are claims that the company showed in a video that obviously have never come into fruition. So we want to be able to test the claims that the company is making. If you're saying
but be fair.
Be fair, 100% fair. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like we're gonna take a giant on it.
No, but if you're saying electric towing is a thing, let us tow with it. Yeah. And if you're saying that having independent motors on your wheels is better than the traditional way, let us don't be afraid. Let us go out there and actually test it in either Moab or in the mountains of Colorado, where we've tested other vehicles, and we'll be just as wowed by it. This is getting kind of inside baseball, but I was talking to, I'm not going to tell you what person it is, but it is one of the PR people that we deal with, right? And he was saying when companies play favorites, right, which is what Rivian in fact did. So Rivian gave the vehicle ahead of anybody to Motor Trend, and Motor Trend took it across the Trans-America Trail. But when companies do that, when they say, you know what, we're going to pick our favorite, that it creates a lot of bad blood. And we're really trying not to have that happen here. But it's like if you give the toy to one kid and the brother doesn't get it, what happens in that situation?
It's not a lot of happiness.
You're not creating a lot of happiness on the part of a lot of other people when you say, well, we like you, but not you. Yeah. He was like, we were talking about this, and he was like cautioning me that this is proven over the years not to be a great strategy. And yet, because of the way the internet works and because of the way that like these new technology companies are working, it feels like they're trying to reinvent the ball, but they haven't learned from the lessons of the past, right? I like to say that that there is a reason that Ford has a PR branch, right? It's not because they necessarily wanted it. I don't think Henry Ford got up one morning and said, you know what, I need a PR department
right now.
I think that there was some bad stuff happening in the past that Ford decided that they needed to address and do it proactively. So we'll see if how it works out for Tesla having Mr. Musk's Twitter account be their PR department. We'll see. Yeah, maybe it'll be great in the new world, or maybe we'll see.
And like we said, we want to open an invitation to you. If you have one delivered, if you have a truck, and this goes for a lot of new vehicles, right?
Yeah.
If you want to just show it off, we don't have to drive it. Right. Like, let's say you just wanted to bring it by and have us actually crawl around it. That's fine. So let us know at ask@tfltruck.com. That's our email. Or just you can message us at @tfltruck on any social network. So just let us know and say hello.
Yeah, and I want to, but as a thank you to, I want to thank all the people who have come by with their vehicles. And over the last 11 years now, we have featured a lot of people's vehicles in Dude, I Love My Ride. It's always great to see our fans and to have you guys bring interesting vehicles by. So if there's something that you want to feature and you want to kind of get out into the world, we love working with you, especially on either new vehicles that are exciting, right? Or
classics.
Or classics. So the stuff in between isn't as interesting. If you've got like a 10-year-old F-150, there's a lot of those out there.
Unless you lifted it 4 feet in the air and it's running, I don't know.
4 feet. Didn't Whistling Diesel do just like 80 feet?
Yeah, if you lifted it 80 feet, come by.
That's a tough one to keep up with. Anyway, just an apology. So if you see coverage out there, we tried, and we're hoping to get, like I say, one of you guys to lend us one and let us put it through its paces.
Yeah, thank you. And we'll see you at TFLtruck.com and our YouTube channels as well.
You're going to get a Tesla with the Yoke, Andre?
No. But here's the thing: they should make it an option. If somebody wants that, go ahead.
That's a good idea, right?
Get a Yoke. But why are they forcing it on everybody?
Well, Tesla has a reputation of not bound. They think, and it's been successful so far. That they know the way that
pushing the envelope.
Pushing the envelope, and so. If they really believe in the Yoke, I think that the next logical step would be to put it on the Y and the 3, their best sellers, right?
Yeah,
that would be where it goes. Or
let us know what you think.
It's going to be interesting in the next. One of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to offer it as an option, which will be a taciturn admission that people don't like it, or they'll lean into it, and you'll see the Yoke on the Y and the 3, and then we'll really see how if they have the future, and if they're ahead of where we're at.
Yeah, and let us know what you think, of course, in the comments.
Ciao.
Coming up very soon on TFL Truck, our brand new video series for a few bucks less. Check it out.
What is that? Envelope. N's for you, T's for you, and A's for you.
Sweet.
We're calling this new series for a few bucks less.
This is $2,500
exactly.
bucks.
Look at it. It's a B4000.
Were you living in here for a while?
Look at it! It's a 1965 Peugeot 404.
And the transmission is still there.
Aha! Dude, I thought you bought a Peugeot.
Taking that aside, everything pretty much works. Oh, I got him at the line!
Come on!
That's gonna be the slowest race ever done at this IMI track.
But here's what I found in my truck.
You found that?
It's a bat.
They're still leaking.
It's a little tiny bit of oil.
Nathan, how do you feel against the mighty V8 right now?
So guys, the question now is, for a few bucks less, did you get a little less or a lot less? And there's only one way to figure that out.